Today, we're going to dig into why gold is surging, and more importantly, what it's really telling us about the health of the whole financial system. So, let's get right into it.
So you've probably seen it in the headlines. It's a simple, undeniable fact right now. The price of gold, it's climbing.
And hey, it's not just gold. Its little cousin silver is right there with it, moving in the same direction. But here's the thing. The usual explanations you're hearing on the news, they don't really tell the whole story. The real reason is something, well, a lot deeper.
Okay, so first, let's look at the usual suspects, what I'm calling the wrong answer, and talk about why that story just doesn't quite add up.
You know the drill. Turn on any financial news channel, and you'll hear this on a loop, right? Gold is up because inflation's running hot. Or the dollar is weak. Or it's just a classic flight to safety. It all sounds pretty logical, doesn't it?
Well, here's where the logic starts to fall apart. While those things can be true, they aren't the whole picture. If you look back through history, you'll see gold has had some of its biggest runs when inflation was actually low and the dollar was strong. So if the usual suspects don't always fit the crime, it means there's something else going on underneath.
And that brings us to the real question we should be asking. What are these metals picking up on that maybe isn't obvious to the rest of us yet?
Just think about it for a second. Throughout history, gold and silver often start to move before a crisis hits the front pages. We're talking wars, banks going under, massive debt problems. These assets seem to have a sixth sense for trouble brewing on the horizon.
So, what's the deal? What is that invisible signal that they're all reacting to? What's the one thing that connects all these different kinds of crises?
And you know what? The answer is surprisingly simple. It all boils down to a single, powerful word: trust. That's the one metric that really, truly matters here.
Now, let's be super clear about what we mean by trust. This isn't some fuzzy feeling. In finance, trust is the cold, hard calculation of confidence in the bedrock of our system. Governments, banks, and the currencies they create.
And this is where you can really see it in action. When trust is high, we're all perfectly happy to hold paper assets. Stocks, bonds, cash, they're all just promises of future value. But when that trust starts to crack, people stop chasing profits, they start looking for protection in things that can't just be printed out of thin air.
Okay, so if trust is the key, where are we seeing the cracks start to show right now? Well, let's start with the first huge signal, a massive, growing imbalance that honestly, most people are totally ignoring.
Here's the signal that the pros are laser focused on. For years now, the amount of debt in the world has been growing way, way faster than the actual economy. The part that makes real stuff and provides real services. That puts a huge strain on the entire system.
And I mean, just look at this chart. You don't need a PhD in economics to see that this gap is, well, it's just not sustainable long term. The system becomes super fragile, and that fragility is exactly what eats away at trust, and that's what gold is sensing.
But listen, if that debt signal is a tremor, then this next clue, this is the earthquake. We just have to follow the money, not from regular folks, but from the biggest players in the game. So let me ask you a quick question. Who do you think is buying up the most gold on the entire planet right now?
Your first thought might be, big hedge funds, or maybe everyday people buying up coins. But nope, it's not who you'd normally think of.
The biggest buyers, and it's not even close, are the world's central banks. Yeah, the very institutions in charge of our currencies are hoarding physical gold like never before. And we're not talking about a small shopping spree. They are buying more gold right now than at any point in the last 50 years. This isn't just a trend, folks. This is a massive, historic shift in strategy.
So why? Why are they doing this?
Well, their actions are basically screaming the answer. They're getting ready for a world that's a lot less stable, both with currencies and with geopolitics. They're hedging their bets against the very system that they are supposed to be in charge of.
All right, so let's put all the pieces together. You've got this unsustainable debt bomb on one side and the world's central banks buying gold on the other. What does this all really mean?
When you see the people in charge of the system moving into gold, it's not about trying to get rich quick. It's a defense mechanism. These purchases aren't about profit. They are, in effect, silent votes of no confidence in the stability of how things are running right now.
And that really leaves us with the most important question of all. The next time you see the price of gold and silver on the move, the question shouldn't just be, how high will it go? The much smarter question to ask yourself is this one. What does the market know that I don't yet?